Saul Alinsky. Now, he apparently wrote that you should never let a crisis go to waste. And that's been repeated a lot of times throughout in the news. That's fine. But maybe he has a good point. We shouldn't let a crisis go to waste. And with this coronavirus that's going around, what a better time to talk about the gospel of Jesus Christ, about salvation, about the love of God for His creation, and of His presence, His omnipresence, being with us everywhere, all the time. Now, last week, I touched briefly on Psalm 116. And I used as a theme Elizabeth Barrett Browning's poem, How Do I Love Thee? Let Me Count the Ways, from Poems of the Portuguese. And she wrote that to her husband, Robert Browning. So she says, how do I love thee? Let me count the ways. And then later on it says, I love thee to the depth and breadth and height that my soul can reach. Well, likewise, the psalmist who wrote what ended up being Psalm 116 says, I love the Lord. And then he enumerated the points. In the first one, I love the Lord because He hears me. How do I love thee, Lord? Because you hear me. He was assured, 100% confident, that God would hear him, hear his prayers. Now this Sunday, I want to touch just on a couple, 3 verses from Psalm 139. And I've used as a title a song, one of my favorite songs, and it was sung by various artists. But my favorite artist is Peter, Paul, and Mary. And it's called Leaving on a Jet Plane. And just a few lines from there, it says, all my bags are packed, I'm ready to go. I'm standing here outside your door. I hate to wake you up and say goodbye, but dawn is breaking, it's early morn. The taxi's waiting and blowing his horn. Already I am so lonesome that I could die. So kiss me and smile for me. Hold me like you'll never let me go. Because I'm leaving on a jet plane. And I don't know when I'll be back again. Well, like the line in the song that says, hold me like you will never let me go. The psalmist, who is David here in Psalm 139, he says that God's hand will lead him or guide him, and that He will hold him, His right hand will hold him. Now the word hold is interesting because it literally means to snatch or to seize, with the idea of possession. So you can sing along with the psalmist and say that your right hand will hold me and hold me like you'll never let me go. Jesus said to His disciples, and of course it comes on down to us, to everyone, that He said that those that are in Him, I will never leave you, nor will I forsake you. Then I'll cover a little bit on Paul to the Philippians, where he says, rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I say, hey, rejoice. You know, let your gentle spirit be known to everybody, to all men, because the Lord is near. I mean, He's right here. He's coming soon, but He's near. He's there with you. So, be anxious for nothing. In other words, chill out. Don't worry. Stay cool. But in everything, by prayer and supplication, meaning hard request, pleading, begging, Let your requests with thanksgiving be known to God. He will move heaven and earth to bend down, crouch down, put his ear to your mouth, and listen to everything that you have got to say. So practice these things, he says, and the God of peace will be with you. Now, you don't normally, I've never heard of anybody dedicating or saying that a message is special for a certain group of people, because the message is always to everyone, and it is. But there are some in my heart that I have in mind that have been on our prayer list here at Quaco Baptist. And I just want to mention them, especially to Rhonda and Tim McGuire. Tim and I graduated from high school, along with Johnny Zimmerman. And the three of us enlisted in the Marines, and Johnny now is going through some tough times. Tim and Rhonda, especially. I want to remember Mike Maxwell and Tom Reed. We all went to grade school together at Annunciation Catholic grade school. We were even in the Boy Scouts together. And I always have them on my mind. Their wives and their families. Then there's Jimmy and Larry and Billy Erdman, who were literally my next door neighbors, and their sister Mary. We all grew up in the same grade school together. And there's countless of others that just, the list is too long to go on. But God knows who they are. And he hears our prayers. He hears their prayers, and he is there with them. And I don't want to forget Nancy Holden, who's out in Eureka, California. And most of all, my friend, Leslie Van Houten.
Lord my God, when I was surrounded, consider